Welcome back to In Case You Missed It Wrestling. I am your host, Blackhawk, and today we are covering NXT. And we had a decent episode. It was definitely a setup episode for Vengeance Day, which is the Saturday, which looks really good. Really, really good. But this episode, kind of a stinker. Not a great episode. But let's go ahead and break it down, and I'll tell you why I don't think it was that good of an episode. We would start out with Bailey versus Cora Jade. Pretty decent opener, right? Pretty decent. This was nowhere near as good as Bailey's match with Lyra Valkyria on Raw the night before. It was good, right? It was still good, but after that match, they couldn't have done anything better. Honestly, in my opinion, it just couldn't have gotten better. Cora Jade did impress me though. I wasn't super high on her before, but after this match, I'm starting to understand the reason for her sort of push as of recent. I I don't mind it. I kind of like her. I hope we get a full fleshed out Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade feud before Roxanne makes her way to the main roster, which will be very, very soon, especially since she has a chamber match this week. But I don't know if we'll get that. They did that with Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, and I thought it was awesome. I thought that worked out really, really well. So I don't know. It won't be the same as Carmelo and Trick because there's no championship involved, right? Like, I assume Julia will walk out of Vengeance Day as champion again. I don't really see why they would give it to Roxanne, Cora, or Bailey at this point. Things could happen. I'm not booking the show. I don't really know what's going on. But in this match in particular, Bailey would pick up the win after Roxanne would come out to try to distract someone. I'm assuming distract Roxanne, maybe? I don't know. It wasn't very clear who she was trying to distract, but she did come out in Hugger Bailey attire, which was fun to see again. But it was very confusing because she is definitely feuding with both of them, and I don't know if she's trying to get back in Cora's good graces or not. But she did seem shocked when Cora won. So I don't who was she trying to distract here? It didn't make a lot of sense, but interesting moment, at least. Just a interesting moment. But I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with all of them. I gave this match a 73 out of 100, which is a 3.65 stars. So, average. Just an average run of the mill match that we can expect in the WWE nowadays. So, nothing special. Good opener, right? Good match. It's nothing to, write home about, but it's not a stinker. It's not a bad match like we would get later on in the night. Ava would come out and announce that the match at Vengeance Day has moved into a fatal four-way instead of a triple threat, adding Cora Jade into the mix, which is interesting. Interesting choice, but I'll back it. I think that match is going to be really good. I think it's going to be one of the better matches of the night, if I'm honest with you. We would then go backstage with Sol Ruka and Zarya, and they have a tag team match with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson next week on NXT. Sol suggests that they should go to the beach to train. Nikita Lyons would come in and scoff and say, "You at the beach? Imagine me at the beach." She would also say that one win doesn't make them a tag team and that Sol is holding Zarya back. Zarya would defend Sol and say they got a win last week, which is more than Nikita would say, and Nikita would challenge Zarya to a match later on tonight. Obafemi would also come out to the ring and cut a promo talking about his match at Vengeance Day on Saturday. Says that his triple threat match is more like a handicap match A-Town Down Under believe that they can take him out and be fine, but their egos will get in the way. A-Town Down Under would make their way out, and they would say they thought better of Oba than trying to turn them against themselves. Theory says Grayson Waller was a pillar of NXT that gets no love and is overlooked, and he will help him win on Saturday. Waller would say that Austin Theory rode shotgun to Gargano while in NXT, and Saturday he will ride shotgun to Grayson Waller. Waller and Theory would verbally attack each other back and forth pretty heavy handedly, going as far as pushing each other to sell a broken bond, but used it to get the upper hand on Oba Femi. I am very excited for this match. This is probably the most excited I've been for an A-Town Down Under match in a while. I just don't know if this is the moment we see Austin Theory finally break out from Grayson Waller and they have some sort of a series maybe going into WrestleMania. I don't know. That could be possible. That could be happening this Saturday. So that in my head is enough for me to check out Vengeance Day, which I was going to watch it anyways. I'll be live streaming Vengeance Day on my Twitch channel, same username as my YouTube channel. So if you're watching and want to come hang out, you're always welcome. We would then see an Eddie Thorpe video where he would challenge Trick Williams to a strap match at Vengeance Day. So that's very, very interesting, especially for the month of February. We would also get a second video package after the commercial break about Javon Evans, saying that he is medically cleared, but it is not recommended for him to wrestle. He is risking an extreme injury by doing so. And we would go back to Ava and Javon and Ava's office. Ava would try to talk Javon out of the match, but he is adamant on facing Ethan Page. Ava would make him sign a waiver to compete in the match, and he signs it with no hesitation. He is ready for this fight. And with the Cedric release, I don't really know where they're going with this anymore. Like, I understand, I get it, right? I know where they're going, obviously. But Cedric was a part of this. Dante Chin was a part of this. They let go of Cedric. We haven't heard anything about Dante Chin other than he was at the hospital. I don't know. This is one of those things where I really question, is anybody thinking in the front office? I don't know, man. I just don't know. The release of Cedric really still gets to me. It still blows my mind. And it'll probably blow my mind until I see Cedric on AEW, where I expect him to go and join the Hurt Syndicate, which I think he will excel on AEW with the Hurt Syndicate. And I'm very, very excited for his future. But I do kind of hate the timing of all this, right? Like, he's in the middle of something right now and they just let him go. Like, let him at least finish the story first, right? At least finish the feud, finish whatever's going on here, and then let him take that step away. And I don't know if this was he asked for his release or if this was, they just needed to make budget cuts because they're potentially adding a lot of new faces to the roster, some old faces coming back. These are just rumors. Right? Nothing substantial yet, other than one that we will talk about later. So I don't know. I still don't get it. Still doesn't compute up here, but it's done. It's over. And there's nothing I could have done to stop it to begin with. We'd move into Tank and Tank versus No Quarter Catch Crew versus Briggs and Inumura. Now, there is no true stipulation for this match as far as a tag team championship match goes, other than for Briggs and Inumura. They lose, they don't get to face Fraxium. Everybody else, I guess, was just competing to compete and maybe hope that Fraxium would give them a shot after the match, but I don't know. This match cooked, though. This match was crazy. This is so good. NXT has had some killer tag team matches this year, and this was the best one they've ever had. I say ever, but this is the best triple threat tag team match they've ever had. Let me say that, because they've had some killer singles tag team matches. This was by far the star of the show. This was the best thing on this show without a doubt. It was incredibly chaotic. Hank and Tank are awesome. They're so good. They are the ROW tag team champions right now. And I know that WWE is working with ROW, but I guess not close enough to let them use the tag team belts on TV, even though owned by Booker T, and Booker T does commentary on NXT, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, it weird, weird company stuff, right? But they are incredible. They are future tag team champions for sure on probably every single brand WWE has. No Quarter Catch Crew is incredibly athletic and so crisp in the ring. They might be my favorite NXT faction just because of how good I know their matches are going to be when they're there, right? If I see a No Quarter Catch Crew member on the card, I know I'm guaranteed a good match out of the night. Everything else could be just dog doo doo, but I'm at least guaranteed one good match if one of them is on the card. Briggs, I was never really high on. I just didn't really get the hype. I don't think there was a lot of hype behind him to begin with, but after watching him in this, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to see why he's still on the roster, like why they're keeping him around. Inamura is an absolute tank. Incredible wrestler. I watched him in Japan before he made the transition to the WWE. I was a fan of him in Pro Wrestling Noah, and I'm a fan of him now. Before I've said that I didn't like him in the tag team division. I wanted to see him in the singles division, but right now I'm kind of happy with it. After this match, I'm okay with it. Briggs and Inamura would pick up the win, and I'm giving this match 100 out of 100. A total 5 stars. This match was so good. Matter of fact, I've watched it 3 times since Tuesday. Right? This is coming out a little late. Unfortunately, is what it is. I'm sorry about that. But I have watched it 3 times. I watched it right before recording this video again because I just wanted to, make sure all my P's and Q's were in a row. And I was just kind of scrolling through, stopped at the match, watched the entire thing, and then kept, cutting through, making sure all my notes were in line. So good. Fraxium would tell Briggs and Inamura that they have a tag match at Vengeance Day. So the tag team championships are now on the line at Vengeance Day. We would go backstage after that with the family. Stacks would apologize that he's been in his head about taking care of business when the Don is not around. And the Don would reassure him that he's doing fine. Tony would tell him that he's doing fine and to forget about it, in the Italian accent, forget about it. But tonight he has to go at it alone in the steel cage. We leave the family reassured, and we would go into JDG versus Lexus King for the Heritage Cup. I hate the new rules for the Heritage Cup. I don't understand why they did this. This actually made me furious when I saw this live on television. Why would you change the rules for the Heritage Cup match when that's what set it apart from a regular championship match? The Heritage Cup was special because of the match style you had to have to win the cup. To face off for the cup, there was a specific set of rules that you had to follow, and they just threw it away and made it a championship. I don't get it. Like, there's no point in having the cup anymore. Just make it a heritage belt and call it a day. Like, the cup was something special. It was something that only NXT had. There was nothing on any other brand like it, and they took what made it special and threw it away for whatever Alexis King is doing. Not a fan. I am not a fan. I used to be a big fan of the Heritage Cup, and if this is how they continue for the foreseeable future, just cut it off of TV. There's no need for it now. Really. There's just no need for it if this is what it's going to be. I'm so disappointed by that. But the match was still pretty decent. JDG looked good. WWE fans will remember him as Fandango, but now he is JDG as part of the system on TNA. And that's not saying the system of TNA. There is a group on TNA called the System, if you are not up to date on TNA. And he is a member of that. Really interesting faction, if you ask me. Lexus King also looked good. Lexus King is still growing on me, right? He does lose a lot of points for changing the Heritage Cup, even if it wasn't his decision on a whole, right? Even though, he's not the one making this decision, he does lose points for it being under his name. This match was still good. It was average, right? It was really average. The match kept its more technical style in the beginning, and then they would go into a more, American traditional wrestling match, and Lexus King would end up winning against JDG. Retain the cup. We have still not seen a TNA superstar or an NXT superstar walk away with a title or championship from the other brand. And I assume we will see that eventually, right? This partnership is a long partnership. It's bound to happen at least once. I think it'll happen more often than that. But I am very interested to see how this partnership plays out and how the cup plays out now. I'm not very excited for it, but I am interested to see what happens. I gave this match a 71 out of 100, which is a 3.55. Average. Average. Anything above a 3 is average for me. 3 to probably about 3.75 is average. It's what I would expect from a company like WWE. It just is what it is. It's average. It wasn't anything exciting, wasn't anything special, it wasn't anything to write home about, but killed some time and was entertaining. All right. We would go backstage with Ava, Bailey, and Roxanne, and they are all upset about stipulation change. Roxanne says that she is going to win, and Bailey says she's going to win, but Cora Jade would walk up and say that she is going to win. We'd move to a different portion of the backstage area where Kalani Jordan would tell Fallon that if she survives Stephanie, that she wants a title match. Fallon would tell her that she should be worried about Jada Parker as Jada Parker walks up. Jada says she isn't focused on Kalani, but she is focused on the title and she wants next. Ashante the Adonis would walk up after overhearing the conversation and say Carmen deserves a shot as she beat Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker. Fallon tells them to figure it out and walks away. We would then get Zarya versus Nikita Lyons. An incredibly forgettable match. I don't get Nikita Lyons, right? I think I've made that point before. I just don't get it, man. Like, she doesn't have very many like true fans. It's usually just a bunch of horny dudes. She's not that good in ring, and she has had 2 like major knee surgeries within the 3-ish years that she's worked for the WWE. Like, at some point we've got to look at this and be like, when does she need to hang up the boots? Because she's not improving. She's not getting better. Her character, oh God, I hate her character. And most of it's probably because I know people like her in real life and I don't like them either. But I don't know. Man, Zarya is so good. And this stinker being on her resume kind of sucks. Because I don't know, man. Nikita like looks fine, but she also hasn't had a match longer than like 5 minutes. What is this? Is she the bad version of Goldberg? Like, what are we doing? Like, if she was good, we should be seeing her in matches that last longer than 5 minutes. But here we are. Zarya put her down pretty fast, just like every other Nikita Lyons match that I've seen outside of the few that I've seen her win. It's a stinker. It's a stinker. Don't even bother watching it. Just keep moving. You can skip ahead, nothing important happens. They don't even have time to cut for commercial or do a picture in picture. If they did picture in picture, the match would have started and ended before the picture in picture finished. That's how short this thing was. It's just stinker, right? I gave it a 53 out of 100, which might be one of the worst scores I've ever given a match on this channel, which is a 2.65. Comes in below that 3 threshold that I was just talking about to be average. Stinker. Absolute stinker match. Just, you could have put a commercial break in this portion and I might have been happier. And you know me and you know this channel, you know I hate commercial breaks. We would then get a slew of promos and videos. Ethan Page would have a video saying that he plans to end Javon Evans' career on Saturday. Trick Williams would be out in the crowd and accept Eddie's challenge at Vengeance Day. And the big news of the night, which kind of sucks, it happened on a stinker NXT episode. Ricky Starks makes his NXT debut, which is insane. For those of you who are not kept up, Ricky Starks has been with AEW for the last couple of years and has not been used for a long time. I don't remember the specific date, but he has been off TV for a while for AEW for no reason at all. They just refuse to work him into plans, into stories, whatever, I guess. I don't know. But he has been adamant about getting his release, and he was granted it Monday. Tuesday night, he is on NXT. Wasted 0 time. Wasted so little time, I don't think the WWE was quite ready for him to show up. But it is rumored that he will be at Vengeance Day this Saturday as a independent promotion that he was scheduled to be at. Said he had to cancel. So either that or the WWE wouldn't allow him to make the appearance. But I think in this new era, they might have just let him make this one appearance. He is currently the Defy champion. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. They haven't really made an announcement about that either. So a lot of things in the work for old Ricky Starks here. A lot of things could be changing in the wrestling world just because of this one moment. So pretty big moment, pretty important. Ricky Starks is an incredible talent and will do an amazing job on NXT as he makes his way into the main roster. And some people will ask, why did they put him on NXT? I'll tell you exactly why. Because they know the men's division is kind of dog water without their top like 5 guys. They've got to bring in a new face, reinvigorate a couple of things, let some other people cook up a little bit so they can take the place of, Trick Williams, Obafemi, Tony D'Angelo, like Wes Lee even. These guys, once they're gone, the NXT men's division is dog water. Adding Ricky Starks allows you to get a veteran in the locker room. Not that they don't have veterans around a lot, but it allows Ricky to be there, be a veteran, be an incredible wrestler, and show the WWE world what he has to offer while still helping the company in a time where they really need to figure a few pieces out. He can be, a placeholder, not even a placeholder, but be somebody that can hold over NXT until they are able to establish that younger talent. Once that talent is established, I assume he will move to the main roster and be a main roster mainstay, right? That's just what I expect. We would then get Andre Chase backstage with Kale Dixon. Uriah Connors would be introduced to Andre by Kale. They would ask him if he wanted to go out and party, and Andre would say, not on a school night. They would ask, what school? And Andre would say he's still getting used to not being a part of Chase U, which is incredibly sad. Andre is still sad that Chase U is dead, obviously, but I believe through Kale Dixon, we will see it reformed. I think Cale Dixon, maybe Uriah Connors, and maybe as the weeks go on, we'll get some more names in there and get some more faces thrown into the mix. I don't know, but they might be reforming Chase U. No idea. We would move into Ridge Holland versus Tio. We would then move into our main event, which is Ridge Holland versus Tony D'Angelo in a steel cage for the North American Championship. This is what I'm talking about when it's a stinker, right? Ridge Holland is not good. I don't know what they see in him. Ridge Holland is just not good. He's had time on the main roster. He's had time in NXT. He can't get any lower unless they just put him on Evolve. Like, he's just not good. Like, he's built for wrestling, right? He definitely has the body. He's got the face. He's got everything you would want in a good wrestler outside of the ability. He is not good. He could not do a full match without missing a spot to save his life. It's incredible. I've never seen a wrestler guarantee missing a spot every match, but he somehow does it. I don't know. I don't know why they're keeping him around. Like, I don't know what they think they can teach him. Maybe they think they can, fix it. I don't have any hope. I don't have high hope for him. Tony D'Angelo, though, I have very, very high hopes for. I believe a lot in Tony D'Angelo. I think he will be just fine. He's going to make a move to the main roster here within probably the next year. I think he'll get an NXT championship run before he makes it up to the main roster. I think he's going to be an incredible homegrown talent, right? As the WWE evolves and gets bigger and continues to just grow out of what they're doing now, like they're adding Evolve because they're growing too big. They're growing too fast. They're adding Evolve to kind of help mitigate that and kind of help get some of these newer faces on TV and get them some matches in. And I think they're realizing that they have people that are sort of like mainstays on NXT, right? People you're almost guaranteed to see every week. And the rest of the crew is kind of meh. Like when you were younger and you played Pokemon and you'd get your starter and then you'd catch 5 other Pokemon, but you would almost only exclusively level your starter. And then you go into a gym, starter would go down. Your rest of your team is just kind of there, right? Kind of that situation. And creating Evolve allows you to get some of these younger talent, started on getting into these bigger positions in NXT and eventually even bigger positions on the main roster. I think it's a great idea. I'm really looking forward to it. Overall, though, this match was decent, right? It was average match. That's it. It was a cage match. You think, oh, a cage match. This is going to be crazy. Well, Ridge Holland can stink that up too. So I don't know, man. It was predictable. Like Tony D'Angelo was never going to lose this championship. Like I would have never thought he would have lost here tonight. But I think the more interesting thing definitely happened after the match. After Tony won, Ridge pretty much just shot up and attacked the family. Like it was almost like he was planned to lose. He would pull the boys out, leaving Tony, Adriana, and Izzy in the ring. Spears and his crew would enter the cage and lock it shut. Izzy Dame would then turn on the family and an onslaught would ensue on Tony with nobody being able to stop it. So, interesting turn here. I did not expect that out of Izzy. So that was actually pretty exciting. That was kind of cool. Finally, something that I didn't sort of see coming. So I'm pretty excited about that. I thought that was really good. Yeah, I thought that was really good. I'm giving this match a flat 70, so 3.5. Right? It was a match. It was good. It was a cage match, but I think what happened after really, really, really boosted somewhat of a stinker of a match. Crazy ending, though. Crazy ending to NXT, and we have a lot to look forward to with Vengeance Day Saturday. And this will come out Friday, so tomorrow. So let's get into what we can be expecting from Saturday. Obafemi will face off against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller for the NXT Championship. Julia will face off against Bailey, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade for the Women's NXT Championship. Braxium will face off against Briggs and Inamura for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Fallon Henley and Stephanie Vakir will face off for the Women's North American Championship. Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe will face off in a strap match. That is what we have for Vengeance Day, and it looks pretty good. Like on the outside, I'm looking at a pretty good card. I'm pretty excited for it. I will be live on Twitch and YouTube if you want to come watch it with me. But for this episode of NXT, but that would be it for this episode of NXT. This has been, in case you missed it, Wrestling with Blackhawk, and I will see you either for Vengeance Day Live or Sunday for the Friday Night Smackdown episode. All the episodes this week are a little behind. Next week, just a reminder, Raw will come out on Wednesday, NXT will come out on Thursday, and SmackDown will come out on Sunday. So the Sunday day will be the only current one that is right this week. But that will be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy Vengeance Day, even if you don't get to watch it with me. But I will see you in the next one.